Final session on green signage, how we can work with the different factors. And of course, for me, the most visual artifact of a digital signage installation is the screen. And the more impressive it gets, the more we are talking about LED, and the more we talk about LED or LCD, we talk about energy consumption. Impressive installations need impressive, also have impressive costs and an impressive green signage impact. So we were discussing what kind of technology will take home the energy race. Are there new technologies around? And for this panel, I would like to welcome Tobias Lang from Lang AG, Martijn van der Woude from Philips PPDS or Philips DS, I think, and Vincent Piarou from Samsung. So all the gentlemen, you know a lot about hardware. It will be both an educating session for the rest of us, but also hopefully also showing where the future will hold. And Martijn, you have been advocating for more greener hardware, and congratulations to the both Green Signage and also Excellence Award yesterday here at NVIDIS. And you have introduced the Philips Tableau paper at the recent ISE, and we also can see it outside here in the exhibition. What is the future for you? Is it LED or LCD, or is it something else?
No, I think all these technologies coexist in the future. So when LED came up, the end of LCD was pronounced. I see a lot of future for LCD, and now we have e-paper, and it will definitely not replace LED and LCD. It opens a new market, I think, for new applications where we replace paper, and who knows, we will have evolved technology in 1 or 2 years that we'll present in this forum.
And Tobias, you're renting out equipment, and you have your technology agnostic. How do you see the race? Who is the leader, and where does it lead on the road? If you take about both performance versus green impact, where do you see the race going?
Well, overall, we can measure an increased LED market and a decreased LCD market, both in rental and in integration. But we also see, if we look at the technology side, that technology is merging. If you look on the factory side, to the challenge LCD factories have these days, they look at their own future. And what they realized is that they can exist in future, and they can be helpful if they use their knowledge and their core technology about transistors. So we will see in future, in my opinion, a lot of active matrix products, which means every pixel is driven directly instead of a scan ratio as we are used to it, because this is the way how we can sustainably use LCD factories to have better LED products. So I think the question just to divide it into LCD and LED is maybe a bit wrong. It will merge somehow, and we get some new kind of technology out of it.
And you, Vincent, representing Samsung, you're recently been certified, ISO certified for some of your products. What is your strategy when it comes to becoming a more energy efficient and greener hardware supplier?
Well, let's say the work to improve the sustainability of our product has started a few years ago, but definitely a few months ago when we had this huge rise of power cost, everybody started to be interested in, first of all, identify how much the products are consuming and how we can reduce that. Well, funny enough, most of those products are providing for many years, like more than 15 years, features to optimize the power consumption, but nobody were using them.
And what is the reason why nobody is using it? Is it a lack of knowledge or talent, or what is it?
It's not the lack of talent. I will never say that. Probably, indeed, knowledge, but also the fact that turning off a screen, whatever the technology, was a little bit frightening for system integrators who are selling the on-site maintenance contract. So they prefer to keep it running, and so the next morning they were sure that it was on. So that was probably a psychological effect, and if the cost of consumption was not really a question, I can understand why they were doing that. But technically speaking, we were all providing solutions to turn off during the night, at least. So it looks like the ecologists have pointed their finger to screen. Screen has become some kind of a devil, whatever LED or LCD, whatever the technology. All of a sudden, we have people saying screens are evil. This is completely ridiculous because, again, if you look at the power consumption, we have many ways to optimize it. Plus, if you look just at the size and the weight of the product, now their carbon footprint has been reduced significantly from 10 years ago.
Yeah, we did measurements, as we showed yesterday, that more or less it has more than 50% coming down during the past years. But where will it go further, Martijn? Will you have the tableau as one of the alternative? Where do you see energy savings going, and what will it be also for new use cases that you can serve as a manufacturer?
Yeah, so Tableau, e-paper, it's something it's a very friendly product. Everybody likes it. It's what Vincent say with the power consumption cost, of course. But if you look at use cases, let's, for example, take outdoor LEDs that we put in shop windows. We are, or LCDs, we are bringing them with 4,000 nits, 6,000 nits. Now, I don't need to tell you what the power consumption of those products is. The nice thing with e-paper, the more ambient light, the better the picture looks. But we need to educate the market. We also need to understand the product ourselves, and that's what I said in my introduction. We need to see where it fits. So definitely e-paper can be applied to some use case today where we use very high power consumption products.
Could you?
But there are also areas where you say better not. If you want to show video, we know that that's not capable with e-paper.
But could you give an example where e-paper could replace an existing standard installation or a use case?
Yeah, if you look in retail meeting rooms, we have, of course, the room booking products that can be easily replaced by e-paper because it's low refresh rate. But if you look in retail, you have many paper displays that are there for compliance or from price information that may be changed one time per day, one time per week. It's now full color. It's at a decent size. So I think if you look at the cost of replacing paper, if you have 2,000 outlets, retail outlets, and you do that with e-paper, one installation, and then you can dynamically change the content of these products. I think that is where you will see these products on a quite a large scale.
Tobias, we're talking about a merger of technology, but also the need for educating customer base in order also to choose the right technology. How, when you have a multitude of different customers who order something for a big stadium or big event, how knowledgeable is the customer base when choosing the right product, both in terms of product delivery, but also in terms of energy efficiency?
Well, I think that's a journey. Because we come here to ask ourselves about LCD, LED, because we learned this through being in this industry, and customer learned it because of projects and so on. If we look, for example, in LED, in future we will ask different questions because of this challenge of power consumption, the innovation is going on. And in future we will maybe ask, will we have a ship directly on board like COB, or will we have a ship in a package solution? What will be superior? So we will have race of different technologies regarding these challenges, and we have to train customers to understand which way they could go, and how they ask questions to understand how technology is going forward, because I believe there is plenty of room to reduce power consumption on LED side, and this is going on. If you look back to ISE, you saw that micro LED and package got hyped against COB, but for the moment it's not possible to say which direction the market will go. If it will be mini LED with chip on board or micro LED and package or whatever. And I think this is something which is good for the market somehow, because if you compete, if there's a race, you have the best opportunity to improve. And we have to share those challenges with the whole supply chain on customer side to make sure that they have the opportunity to ask the right questions to get their solution. For sure, you mentioned that the solutions were available in the market, but no one asked or used them in before. I think as we have a raise of awareness now regarding green AV, we have an opportunity as an industry to use it to bring an innovation process to this side to achieve much more better solutions, because I believe we can have quite green displays in future, and therefore e-paper, nevertheless, where you can use it in which vertical, is a good example what could be possible, and maybe same is possible on LED side.
But if you say, okay, the technology has been around, has not been used, we have good potential for improvements, how long will it take before the gap is closed between your knowledge on the manufacturer base and the knowledge of the integrators purchasing this for customer needs? What is the time gap, what we see where more or less those two knowledge levels will meet each other and will come back to a more mature and more commoditized and more standardized market, and when it comes to energy efficient hardware solutions? What is your view?
That's going to be extremely fast, because
what is fast?
This year, by the end of this year, I think.
Okay.
Because we will provide tools to first identify clearly the power consumption based on the level of backlight, for example. We're gonna explain everybody how to optimize it. Plus, we want to provide solutions to generate optimization automatically. Because if you ask a human person to press a button or to do something, to change the content or to change the backlight level, it's never going to happen. If it's completely automatic with different kinds of whether sensors or data sources and so on, then it will adjust, and we will be able to show the savings in euros and in carbon.
Where will you show it? Will it be in your new software stack, or where will?
It's not yet disclosed, but we can even show it on the screen.
Okay, so we will read the press release and then we'll take it from there. Martijn, what is your? You have as a. I know that the Tableau and other e-ink papers were the talk of the town at the ISE, and you get a very positive response from the market. Where will it take you in your product portfolio mix, these kind of new technology?
So we are closely working with partners to understand the technology. What I said, where to apply it, we are learning. So we even don't have.
How fast are you learning?
We're learning fast, and one of the things that we do, and I know, Vincent, you also do that, we open studios. So we have in every major country around the world where Philips operates, we have studios where we show all these technologies together. Because I think that is one of the things that are lacking. If you sell LED or a client is interested in a LED, how to compare that with a picture on an e-paper or an LCD? Why not bring them to the technology, show it? We put a power meter on the Tableau here in our booth, so you can come to see that. So you can see the low power consumption. So now it's with a power meter, but it's a good idea to put it in the software, maybe in the remote device management software. So it's a journey, but we think you also actively to end customers show the technology and compare with the eye what is the best for your requirement.
When you get your customers, Tobias, are they asking for energy efficient solutions, or are they asking, okay, for the best possible product outcome, let's say, for installation? What is the
No, the awareness about power consumption raised so much that you face this challenge in every single project. And I think that's the way to go. And as there's pressure from this side of the supply chain, I think there's also a different pace now on R&D side. Even we had solutions available in before, there will be new ones. And therefore, the education challenge never stops. It will be about different hurdles, and that's quite positive. I believe as our industry is so dynamic, we have the opportunity to bring new solutions to the market with a high pace, and we can tell a story and share this, that we are able to save energy. Yeah. If you look, for example, at the industry of battery business, the pace of innovation by technology is much more slower. Even it is a wide industry, and this is our big opportunity. And I see everyone in the supply chain is using this now, so I'm quite optimistic.
You have also not a, yeah, I think you have a database, but you also have a methodology how you measure energy efficiency of different hardware devices. Could you just shortly describe how you do it? Also, you have a laboratory, you have your Hubertus, and you do what are you doing exactly, so that people also understand that it's not just based on opinions, it's also based on hard facts.
Well, what we do is once we look with a partner into product planning and we have a pre-production sample, we look into a measurement of the pre-production sample. So we put it into a dark room with no change of conditions, and we measure everything, and also power consumption and energy. And we do a report sending back to the manufacturer, but also sharing with the market to give integrators and rental companies the right awareness to choose the right product for their need. That's necessary. But I think as it is a journey that never stops, measurements are very important. But when I go to a show, I'm not able to measurements. I just feel the heat of LED screens, for example. And if you do this over time, you see how much positive change.
So what does your finger say? So if you know, remember how warm your hand was 2 years ago.
Exactly.
And how
this changed quite a lot.
Okay.
And there are a lot of really cold technologies out in the market now, and I think that's an incredible story for our industry.
Any particular technology that comes into your mind that you?
Well, for sure, e-paper is a great story. All these active matrix solutions, I believe, are really the future, because you can do it with less hardware. You don't need any hardware to do scan ratios. You don't need any fans because you have no heating. You can directly put the transistors to some LED chips, and that's everything. And so you have even lighter products, with less heating. I think there are, and maybe even based on micro LED or micro LED in package in future. I have no clue yet, but there's a lot ongoing. It will be reduced in future too. So I think the pace of innovation we have now on this level is great.
So you were talking about the pace of innovation. You promised some revolution by the end of the year. What are your next steps at Philips?
Our next steps, because I talk about e-paper, but on LED we do a lot of innovation.
Yeah.
We had 3 years ago, we came with dynamic power saving on the displays. We use common cathode now, the gold LEDs. So there is a lot of innovation going on. I was a couple of weeks ago in China, where you see at the core of our technology how fast it's going. And I think one point we didn't touch, it is for us. I don't know how it is for you, but I think also for you, because you go to TUV, is the certifications actually are behind.
Okay.
So if you look at e-paper, it's not possible to get an EPEAT or a TCO certificate because it doesn't fit in the standards. So for me, it's also a call to those certification bodies, follow the industry, because the technology goes so fast, and also they can help to explain the difference in technologies. Because if you invest in cold LED, it comes with a price, with a price point. But if you calculate the total cost of ownership, including the power consumption, then it's maybe a very good decision if you're in retail and you earn that investment back in 1 year. But so it's not just the cost adder, but my call is the certification are behind. So we are actually looking ourselves now for certification, but that doesn't make it easier for the end customer to decide.
And then in the first panel, we touched the topic of refurbishment, that we also is an unexploited potential in the industry, that you also can provide screens a second life if you have a standard, how the residual value after the lease has expired. So there's many more things to work. Yeah. But if you look at energy consumption patterns, we measured ourselves recently the progress made, and we found out that during the past 5 to 7 years, it decreased of 50%. How much lower can we go compared to 10 years ago? Maybe a guess from each of the three gentlemen here. What would you say if you have saved 50% of energy in LED, LCD during the past 5 years? What more can we achieve?
I think we can achieve more with the LED. Definitely.
How much still more?
I cannot say. I cannot give a number, but it's quite an old technology, but at the same time a very new technology for micro LED, for example. So there is a huge improvement, technically speaking, in the past 2-3 years. It's really amazing. So we can tell you that because the demand for reducing power consumption is there, R&D is working very hard on that too. So we will provide solutions.
Martijn, what is your view? How much more can we give to the market in terms of energy improved screens, with the exception on top of the tableau, what you have been introducing?
Yeah, I agree with Vincent. I think the biggest step we will see in LED technology, chip on glass, we didn't touch that, but the active technologies, I think it's a little bit like the Moore law. Let's say 50%, another 50% in the next 2 years that we can achieve.
So then we have a new panel in 2 years from now, where we will then review where we have been, and hopefully we are there, maybe we have exceeded it, so we will see. Yeah. What is your view, Tobias? You have been following this, I don't know for how many decades, but you know where the industry comes from, where we are right now. What is the potential when it comes?
It depends on the distance. So if we talk about a decade, I'm pretty sure it will be way above 90%. It is about 2 years. It's hard to say if it will be 50% because it is based on decision the industry will take. But as you see, everyone you talk to sees plenty of room. So it is a race, and there's something happening on LED side which will have influence to it. There will be a race between China and Korea because in the past they supplied each other in a way that it doesn't matter where the ship maker was based. But now there are two lines of supply chains growing up, one on Korea side based on Seoul Semiconductors, and one on Sanan Chinese side. And this will have big influence on this race and also on this decision, and is somehow fitting to what's happening in our world, and this will be very interesting.
So decoupling, what Chris Riegel yesterday has mentioned, is also has an effect on the speed of innovation and on what kind of technology we will be having. Will this also take away the pressure from regulators in order to look at, if you look at the 8K energy efficiency decision in Brussels, will this take away some of the pressure if the industry is improving so dramatically? Tobias?
Well, yeah, it will take away this regulation, but there will be new ones.
Okay, but who is talking to Brussels on behalf of the manufacturers? Do you have a lobby organization that's saying, okay, listen, guys, we are not as bad as you think? What is happening there on this front?
Yeah, we have our R&D facility in Europe in Ghent, and there is an organization, Agoria, which is out for us the direct talk to the regulators.
But do you do it on behalf of Philips, or do you do it on behalf of?
It's on behalf of Philips, yeah.
Okay.
There is not a board of companies because we all have our R&D on different places. You mentioned Korea, China. So unfortunately, that's not a level playing field. But we talk directly to the regulators, also for our TV business, which is large and depending on those regulators from Belgium.
And closing remark for you, Vincent, how do you see this regulatory situation from your point of view? Is this cumbersome, or do we as an industry make enough progress to keep the regulators at bay?
Well, let's say our industry is extremely eco-conscious. We can say that. We work, all of us, for many years now. We've not waited for the energy crisis to work on that, to reduce the power consumption and the carbon footprint. We talk to regulators. I would say there are organizations at country level. So there are areas where we talk to governments and explain and give awareness of our technologies. But the regulators are not preventing us from doing business. They are there to make sure that the business is going the right way for humans and for the citizens. So we should not blame regulators, as well as we should not try to make lobby to influence them. It sounds really, really bad to say that, but giving them all the knowledge that our industry has will help them to take the right decisions and probably support also our industry development, because we provide solution to give information to the citizens, so it cannot be bad.
Thank you. That was very political and correct answer.
Thank you.
Thank you for all your three gentlemen for this insight. I think it has been a very interesting panel. Now we are concluding this session on green signage, and we're going to generative AI here. And thank you. Enjoy the rest of the day, and we'll see you in 2 years and we discuss the progress made. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.